Welcome back my YouTube channel. Today something special I am telling about for this coin 5-cent 1961 United States of America Jefferson nickel. The 1961 United States 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel, stands as a fascinating piece of mid-20th century American coinage. Though it may appear ordinary in circulation, its history reflects an era of economic stability, Cold War tensions, and American optimism during the early 1960s. This coin, minted in large numbers, carries the legacy of President Thomas Jefferson, one of the nation's most influential founding fathers, and his architectural masterpiece, Monticello. Minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, the 1961 nickel belongs to a series that had been in continuous production since 1938. While it is not a rare coin in the numismatic sense, it is an important representative of American design, post-war industry, and mid-century coinage. To understand its true significance, one must explore its design origins, production history, composition, economic context, and enduring place in U.S. numismatic heritage. Historical background of the Jefferson nickel. Before the Jefferson nickel, the United States 5-cent piece featured the buffalo or Indian head design, introduced in 1913. By the late 1930s, the U.S. Mint sought a new design to replace the aging buffalo motif, which had been admired for its artistry but criticized for its technical difficulties during minting. In 1938, to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Thomas Jefferson's birth, the Mint launched a design competition. Sculptor Felix Schlag, a German-born artist, won the contest. His design featured Jefferson's left-facing portrait on the obverse and Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, on the reverse. Schlag's work became the standard for the nickel and remains iconic to this day. The Jefferson nickel thus became both a tribute to Jefferson's vision of democracy and enlightenment and a symbol of America's enduring appreciation for its founding ideals. The coin was first minted in 1938 and continued with only minor changes through the 20th century. The 1961 issue, an era of change and continuity. The year 1961 marked the beginning of a new decade, a time of scientific achievement, civil rights momentum, and economic growth in the United States. Under President John F. Kennedy, who had just taken office, the nation looked toward the future with confidence. In this setting, the 1961 Jefferson nickel was struck at two mints: the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark; the Denver Mint, D mint mark. The Denver issue is particularly notable among collectors, as certain 1961 D nickels exhibit sharp details and high mintages, but also display some striking anomalies in die quality. Although the design was nearly identical to earlier issues, the 1961 nickels were minted using modernized equipment, reflecting the technological progress of the post-war era. These coins circulated widely across the expanding American economy, used daily in vending machines, telephones, buses, and diners, all hallmarks of mid-century American life. Design detail. Obverse design. Thomas Jefferson. The obverse, front, of the coin displays the left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. Jefferson's image was based on a marble bust by sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon, created in 1789. The portrait is dignified yet simple, symbolizing Jefferson's intellect and democratic ideals. Inscriptions on the obverse include "In God We Trust," a national motto emphasizing America's spiritual heritage. Liberty, Jefferson's core value, followed by the year 1961. Schlag's design retains crisp, clean lines that made it ideal for mass production. Reverse design. Monticello. The reverse of the coin features Monticello, Jefferson's neoclassical home in Virginia, which he designed himself. The word Monticello appears prominently below the building, while the motto E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, is inscribed above. Beneath the image are the denomination 5 cents and United States of America. This reverse design reflects Jefferson's architectural genius and Enlightenment ideals: harmony, order, and rational design. Schlag's original design underwent slight modifications to improve coinability, but the overall aesthetic remained faithful to his 1938 vision. Coin specifications: denomination, 5 cents composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel weight, 5.00 grams diameter, 21.21 millimeters thickness, 1.95 millimeters edge, plain, smooth. Designers: Felix Schlag, both obverse and reverse. This copper-nickel alloy composition had been standard since 1866, except for the wartime silver nickels, 1942 to 1945, made with a copper-silver-manganese mix to conserve nickel for the war effort. By 1961, the standard alloy had long since been restored. Mintage figures: the total production of the 1961 nickel was massive. Philadelphia Mint, 76,668,244 coins. Denver Mint, 229,342,760 coins. This high mintage reflected the growing U.S. population and the increasing demand for coinage in a booming consumer economy. Most 1961 nickels entered circulation quickly, though a number were preserved in rolls by collectors hoping for future value appreciation. Economic context of 1961 inches. 1961, the United States economy was in transition. The post-war boom continued, marked by industrial expansion and consumer prosperity. However, mild recessionary trends were present, and unemployment rose slightly. Despite this, coinage demand remained strong due to population growth and the increased use of vending and transit machines. The 5-cent piece had considerable purchasing power in 1961. With a nickel, one could buy a candy bar, a phone call, or even a small bottle of soda. It was a key denomination in everyday life, small enough for pocket change, yet valuable enough to be widely used. The stability of the coin's metal composition also reflected broader economic confidence. Unlike some other nations facing devaluation or inflation, the U.S. maintained a steady monetary system throughout this period. The minting process in 1961. By the early 1960s, the U.S. Mint had modernized its production facilities. Hydraulic presses, automated feeding systems, and improved die preparation allowed for faster, more consistent coin production. The Denver Mint, in particular, was renowned for its efficiency and large-scale output. Each coin began as a blank metal disc, planchet, punched from sheets of the copper-nickel alloy. These blanks were annealed, cleaned, and struck under immense pressure between two dies, one bearing the obverse and the other the reverse design. The result was a bright, durable coin with Jefferson's portrait in sharp relief. Over time, circulation dulled the features, giving older nickels a more muted appearance. Varieties and errors. Although the 1961 Jefferson nickel is not rare, collectors have identified several interesting varieties and errors, including full steps, FS, varieties. On well-struck coins, the steps of Monticello on the reverse appear fully detailed. These full steps nickels are rare and highly valued by collectors. Most 1961 nickels, especially from Denver, lack full step detail due to weak strikes. On well-struck coins, the steps of Monticello on the reverse appear fully detailed. These full steps nickels are rare and highly valued by collectors. Most 1961 nickels, especially from Denver, lack full step detail due to weak strikes. Die cracks and die clashes. Some 1961 nickels show die cracks or clashes where parts of the design were transferred unintentionally due to die damage. These errors add minor collectible value. Off-center strikes and planchet flaws. A few off-center strikes and defective planchets exist, prized by error coin enthusiasts. Because minting quality varied by die condition and pressure, the 1961 D issue often shows less detail in Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps, making full steps examples scarce and desirable. Collecting the 1961 Jefferson nickel. For coin collectors, the 1961 nickel holds significance as part of the long-running Jefferson series. Though most examples remain common in circulated condition, finding a well-struck mint-state coin with full steps is challenging. Such coins can command significant premiums. The 1961 nickel is also an accessible starting point for new collectors, as uncirculated rolls and proofs remain affordable. Collectors often pursue complete sets of Jefferson nickels from 1938 onward, appreciating the design's continuity and subtle year-to-year variations. Value guide, approximate circulated, average face value, 5 cents. Uncirculated, MS 60 to MS 65 25 cents. $2.0 proof. From 1961 proof sets $1.50. $3.00 full steps. MS 65 or higher $25 to $100 plus. Depending on strike quality proof coins were only struck at the Philadelphia Mint, packaged in special proof sets for collectors. These feature a mirror-like finish and sharper details. Cultural and symbolic meaning. The Jefferson nickel carries deep symbolic meaning. Jefferson was not only a U.S. president but also the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, a statesman, philosopher, and architect. Featuring his image and home on the 5-cent coin links America's currency to its democratic foundations and intellectual heritage. In 1961, during the Cold War, American coinage also served as a quiet assertion of national identity and unity. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "E Pluribus Unum" reflected moral conviction and the idea of unity amid diversity, principles seen as vital in contrast to the Soviet ideology of the time. The nickel's simple yet elegant design symbolized American stability and integrity in an uncertain world. Every time it changed hands, it reminded citizens of Jefferson's vision for a republic based on liberty, equality, and reason. The Jefferson nickel through time. By 1961, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for over 2 decades. Over that period, it survived World War II, economic fluctuations, and social change. The design remained virtually unchanged until 2004, when the U.S. Mint temporarily replaced it with the Westward Journey series, commemorating the Lewis and Clark Expedition. In 2006, a new forward-facing Jefferson portrait by Jamie Franke replaced the traditional left-facing design. Yet, the 1961 version remains beloved for its classic, historical aesthetic. The role of the 5-cent coin in daily life. In the 1960s, the nickel played a major role in the American pocket economy. It operated vending machines, paid for phone calls, bought candy, and made change at gas stations. The coin's ubiquity made it a symbol of everyday life in a prosperous post-war America, an era of diners, jukeboxes, and soda fountains. The coin also appeared in numerous cultural contexts. The phrase nickel became embedded in American speech, referring to everything from prices, a nickel for your thoughts, to sports teams, the nickel defense in football. It was a humble coin with a powerful cultural footprint. Numismatic legacy. Numismatically, the 1961 Jefferson nickel is part of a lineage that bridges classical design and modern production. While not rare, it occupies an important place in mid-century American numismatics, symbolizing the enduring continuity of U.S. coinage. Collectors often value it for its historical connection to Jefferson and Monticello, its representation of 1960s America, its role in completing Jefferson nickel seat the challenge of finding high-grade, full-steps examples. In this sense, the 1961 nickel embodies the intersection of art, history, and economics. A small metal token that carries the story of a nation. Conclusion: the 1961 United States 5-cent coin, the Jefferson nickel, is more than a piece of change. It is a tangible reflection of American history, artistry, and identity during a transformative era. From its origins in the 1930s to its place in the dynamic early 1960s, this coin represents stability, progress, and democratic ideals. Bearing the image of Thomas Jefferson and his Monticello, the 1961 nickel connects everyday transactions to the grand narrative of the nation's founding principles. It circulated through the hands of millions of Americans, workers, students, and families, each contributing to the ongoing story of a country defined by liberty and innovation. Though it may be small in size and modest in value, the 1961 nickel continues to capture the spirit of its time. In its metallic surface lies the legacy of a president, the vision artist, and the enduring symbol of a proud and resilient nation. Would you like me to make a shorter version, around 500 words, or a collector's guide version with grading, rarity, and market prices added next? The coin also appeared in numerous cultural contexts. The phrase nickel became embedded in American speech, referring to everything from prices, a nickel for your thoughts, to sports teams, the nickel defense in football. It was a humble coin with a powerful cultural footprint. Numismatic legacy. Numismatically, the 1961 Jefferson nickel is part of a lineage that bridges classical design and modern production. While not rare, it occupies an important place in mid-century American numismatics, symbolizing the enduring continuity of U.S. coinage. Collectors often value it for its historical connection to Jefferson and Monticello, its representation of 1960s America, its role in completing Jefferson nickel seat the challenge of finding high-grade, full-steps examples. In this sense, the 1961 nickel embodies the intersection of art, history, and economics. A small metal token that carries the story of a nation. Conclusion: the 1961 United States 5-cent coin, the Jefferson nickel, is more than a piece of change. It is a tangible reflection of American history, artistry, and identity during a transformative era. From its origins in the 1930s to its place in the dynamic early 1960s, this coin represents stability, progress, and democratic ideals.